Welcome. This is the third lecture about use of ChatGPT in actual clinical setup in healthcare sector. Now, we have already done in previous lecture that when some patient history is given and patient's condition is given, allergy information is given, and with that information whether ChatGPT can first of all work as a medical assistant and present the information in a more readable format. We also tested whether it can expand the acronyms and whether it can follow the shorthand kind of way of writing which all doctors normally use in their clinical setup. We also checked whether it can do disambiguation. For example, SBP can mean systolic blood pressure or it can mean spontaneous bacterial peritonitis. So based on the context, a trained doctor can understand, but the question is whether ChatGPT can understand. And we took example and we found that it can understand the context and give use proper expansion for a given acronym. Now this is one another example. This time rather than symptoms and patient's history, we are taking more about present illness and family history. Okay, so then, and based on that, extract only the diagnosis, differentiate between PMH, PharmHX, and chief current complaint. Output the information as a table with the following suggested schema: diagnosis, status, and relationship to patient. Tell me the reasoning why you have output that particular diagnosis. And then this is the family history. Okay, I can remove this word identification of data and even this that okay, that is his, this was family history, and this is family history, and this is history of present illness. So we are combining these two and asking ChatGPT along with allergy information and which medications the patient is taking, whether it can do diagnosis or not. Okay. Again, so this is using ChatGPT for clinical decision assistant. Okay. Or using it as a tool which can help in diagnosing. Now you can see that it has comprehended the history which was written in many of the standard jargon format, PMH and PharmHX and all that, plus this medical terminology, and but still it could come up with a diagnosis, current complaint, relationship to patient. This diagnosis was for his father based on and this diagnosis is for his sister. Of course, diagnosis here means the probability of them having this thing. Okay, then it gives a reason for each of the diagnosis. That first diagnosis is diffuse metastatic adenocarcinoma. Then it gives a reason for that. Second diagnosis is adenocarcinoma. It gives a reason for that, and so on. So this is again saying that ChatGPT can easily work even not, maybe not replacing medical assistant. Suppose the usual medical assistant writes it in this format, but doctors have so precious little time that if the same format is presented in this manner, along with the probability of diagnosis and all that, and the reasons for the diagnosis, then it can be a useful tool. Okay. Now let us take one last thing. Okay, this is an easier thing, that extract all medical information from the snippet below, expand all abbreviations, output as table as below. One, medications; second, it's a strength; third, it's a dosage. Okay, so, and this is the snippet. This is a standard way. Suppose the patient is being sent home, and you want to just give him a kind of prescription, or a kind of guidance, follow-up guidance, that what exactly he has to do at home, which medications should he take, in what strength, what is the dosage, how many times should it be repeated, how, dose strength means how many milligram. And here there are again certain words. Make sure that you understand QM, QPM, and QID means. So let us see if ChatGPT can understand all that things or not. Okay. So I am starting new chat because sometimes previous memory can create trouble sometimes. And here the note for the patient is ready. QAM means every morning, QPM means every evening, PO means by mouth, QD means once daily, QID means 4 times a day, EID means 3 times a day, and like that. Now you can understand that most of the time such jargons are used in every industry for saving the time, and most of the time 99% of the people in service sector are good people, but often jargons are also used to uh, what you say, deliberately hide information from patients, and to make them a kind of frightened, or maybe not at ease. That culture is now changing. In fact, nowadays the culture is that a doctor should have maximum discussion about the illness in simple language with the patient. So you can understand that if somebody likes ChatGPT, or your assistant who is using ChatGPT, because actually a human supervision is always required. Even the inventor of ChatGPT, Mr. Sam Altman, says that do not take its answer at face value. I always cross verify and scrutinize. So in a sector like healthcare, it is absolutely must. But after some quick scrutiny, you can give this to your doctor, patient, and all these things we have written in the this OpenAI chat.openai.com website. But actually, now here I'm talking some technical things, so some doctors may not understand. But one can develop an app in which you have to use the API key of this API. Then in that app, you can get all this information in a nice user interface, maybe buttons and all that things with proper nice colors. But that is the job of app developer or software architect. So it is possible that you can integrate, and many great apps have already developed, as we will see in some subsequent lectures. And they are so attractive and so user friendly that it is not that you have to actually go to ChatGPT website every time and generate the answer. But the this is the backbone, this is the root, and those apps also get their answer from these only. Okay.